Okay, I have to ask everybody a question. What is it with the United States and billboards? Because North Dakota is now putting billboards in Manitoba, trying to entice Canadians to come back. We know Buffalo did it last year, and Canadians were not happy about seeing that, and they did it again this year, right after the Buffalo fans helped to sing the Canadian anthem. I mean, it's appreciated, but to me, and this is just my opinion, it feels like taking advantage of an opportunity for profit. But North Dakota, they seem to be going in the same direction, and I'm really curious to hear from my Manitoba viewers to see what they think about this. Now, closer to home from where I'm from, Bellingham, Washington, which is like, 20-minute drive from the border, has another business that's closing down. They don't specifically mention Canadians at all, but you can bet that they would love the Canadian foot traffic, which they're not getting anymore. And finally, we have an update from YVR, which is Vancouver International Airport. And I want to thank Sirach from our Discord server for posting this. And even though the news is saying, oh, there's 2 months of increased traffic to the United States, YVR transborder traffic is still going down. And other areas such as Asia Pacific and Europe, they're up quite a bit. So we're going to talk about all of this in this video. And let's get started with the first report out of Manitoba.
Manitobans back across the border to Grand Forks and Fargo this summer. Drivers in Winnipeg might notice a billboard from North Dakota Tourism highlighting its state as close to home. NSCTV's Jeff Keel shows you new data shows the number of Canadians traveling south may be on the rise.
Now, I know a lot of us in Canada are annoyed whenever we hear this from our national news. I mean, I am. But we have to remember that April and May of last year had a steep decline. And also, nothing has fundamentally changed. The 51st state rhetoric, the tariffs, the insults, it's all still happening. I sincerely wish that our Canadian media would report like what DW and France 24 does. Basically facts. The good side, the bad side, and even the middle side. But then again, I guess it gives me areas where I can correct them on.
Over the years, Christina Roberts traveled to the U.S. for entertainment and shopping.
Like different stores, yes. And concerts that might not come here.
But since Trump's second term, Roberts has no desire to cross the border.
I support the American people because I don't believe they all voted for that guy, but I mean, they're threatening us.
Well, that's definitely one of the reasons, but I believe there's a lot more. And it's unfortunate that some Canadians only believe that it's one person causing this problem. I mean, all you really have to do is think logically on this. I mean, how did this orange whoopee cushion get there? Well, he got there because of the voters. And in the state of North Dakota, they overwhelmingly voted for the orange whoopee cushion and J.D. Vance, almost hitting 67%. And yet, now they have billboards begging Manitobans to come back. It's a shooting yourself in the foot situation. Now, actually, a lot of Canadians don't understand this. I mean, they still continue to think that it's one guy. I had a chat with one of my friends, and he said he'll probably go back to the United States once the orange whoopee cushion is gone. I tried to explain it to him, and for whatever reason, he just couldn't understand that it's not just one guy. But I have hopes that my friend will eventually understand it.
She's not alone. Throughout 2025 and early 2026, the number of Canadians traveling to the U.S. has been down. Now, this billboard around the corner from Robert's house in Wolseley is calling on Manitobans to make the short trip to North Dakota.
It just makes me think that they're probably struggling financially right now, and especially border towns.
The marketing campaign Close to Home, Far from Ordinary is from the North Dakota Tourism Branch, and signs like this may be working. StatsCan data from April shows for the first time in 15 months, Canadian return trips from the United States are up 1.8% year over year.
Seriously, give me a break, CTV. I mean, you really think that this sign, this billboard, is going to convince Manitobans to go to the United States? I mean, the ad itself, the catchphrase, it sucks. Like, close to home, far from ordinary. What the hell is that even supposed to mean? A better catchphrase in their advertisement would have been this. And if you're just listening or visually impaired, I changed the catchphrase to, "We fucked up our vote. We're sorry. Please come back." At least this one would have caught my attention.
Canadian pride might not be the only reason people have been avoiding Fargo or Grand Forks. Fuel costs have likely kept people idle.
Okay, I know I'm harping on CTV quite a bit in this report, but it's one of our national news stations. And to be honest, they don't really have the best interest in giving the information, factual information on what Canadians are saying about the US. I mean, look at the garbage that CTV is spewing, and look at what DW is reporting.
But last year, large numbers of them chose not to vacation in the US.
Bei uns.
For us, tourism and bookings were way down. It was really bad. Why aren't they coming anymore? Because of Trump. They say that. They can no longer come here because of the political situation.
Now, as a Canadian, I would love to hear our national media say this. They do every so often, but most of the time, it's going to be like this exchange rate garbage, or blaming it on gas, or blaming it on Canada's economy. I just really wish we would have some Canadian sources that say it as it is. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me on this or not.
We expect to see a lot of local businesses marketing towards people right in their community.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says 86% of their members are worried gas prices will hurt local tourism within our borders.
That, big road trips may be off the agenda this summer as we see fuel prices continue to skyrocket. But that doesn't mean there's not an opportunity to support those local small businesses right in our community.
Those fuel expenses could drive Christina Roberts to stay put.
Everything costs more right now, so do I have money to go on a vacation? I have vacation time this summer, but I'm probably going to be at home.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Now, I don't doubt that things are more expensive. I mean, they are. But it isn't stopping people from traveling right now. And I know it wouldn't stop people from doing cross-border shopping, which is what North Dakota wants. They want us to do cross-border shopping and tourism in their state. So a question for anyone from Manitoba. Is this billboard going to convince you to go to North Dakota again? Is it so enticing, just like what CTV says, that you're going to drop everything and go to North Dakota? If you're from Manitoba, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, moving closer to a border town that I'm very familiar with, there's an article here from the Bellingham Herald, and it's titled, "I Can No Longer Afford the Rent. Bellingham Shop Closes as Owner Seeks Support." Now, this entire article here doesn't even mention Canada at all, or any of us that used to do cross-border shopping or day trips to their city. At least the other business in Bellingham that closed that I featured, they did mention Canadians. And that business owner didn't realize how much he relies on Canadian traffic. And for this business here, I am sorry that your business had to close. But, you have to blame your president and everyone who voted for him. But right now, I want to talk about this other store called Everlocal. And can you stop licking my leg? If you have a cat, does anyone else's cat, their tongue it feels like sandpaper? Co-host really wants my attention, but I need another 10 minutes. I'll finish this video first. All right, let's get into the article. She's getting impatient. A downtown Bellingham business is closing permanently. A move its owner says is due to rent costs and decreasing foot traffic. Everlocal, a locally owned shop with secondhand clothing, locally made goods, arts and gifts, is set to close by the end of July. But the owner, Rob B., is looking for help. "I'm closing the store because I can no longer afford the rent. The store was built on a physical retail business and lacks any e-commerce functionality, and I don't have a business model to help build an online operation. Wish that was an option," Rob told the Bellingham Herald. Now, I'm not really too sure why that's not an option. You could set up a Shopify site and list all of your products. But then again, maybe there's other stuff I'm overlooking or is not mentioned, but it's also not my problem. But one thing I do want to mention, he mentioned decreasing foot traffic. And I think this is something that all border towns across the United States are overlooking and probably underestimating how many Canadians actually just roam their streets. I'll give you guys firsthand example from what I used to do. So my wife and I, well, she was my girlfriend back then, we would go to the United States, pick up a package in Blaine, then head to Bellingham for lunch, maybe walk around Fairhaven for a bit, go into shops, buy some random things from some random stores. Then after that, maybe we go back to Canada or we drive in further to Seattle. But whenever we shopped in Bellingham, whether it's Fairhaven or Bellis Fair, we just buy our stuff and we go. They never asked if we were Canadian, and we were just treated like any other customer going into their store. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we blended in. So despite this report not even mentioning Canadians at all, the decreasing foot traffic that he mentioned, you could sure hell bet that is a lot of Canadians that used to go to the store. Now back to the article. Because I have to close before the end of my lease, I could still be responsible for approximately $90,000 in remaining rent and fees. However, there is an agreement in place that would allow me to fully exit the lease and avoid that large amount. But this only works if I can make the required rent and other payments through July. If I can't, the agreement becomes void, Rob told the Bellingham Herald. This sounds like a GoFundMe ad if you ask me. I'll be here through the end of July, raising funds to cover those payments and the cost of clearing out the store properly. Any support will help me get through this, and it would be deeply appreciated, Rob told the Herald. Rob is asking for support through the shopping store, donating clothes, and spreading the word. Okay, I'm going to stop it here, because the rest of the article is just basically how you can donate and how you can contribute, which, for me, personally, I don't want to be a part of. But I do want to go back to this whole foot traffic thing, because the more I think about it, and I'm using my own experience, anytime I shopped in the United States, just south of the border, whether it was in Blaine or Bellingham or even Seattle, they don't even know I'm Canadian. I normally pay with credit card or US funds. I know companies like Minted Method, which closed down, they understood how much they rely on Canadians. But I do wonder how many border town businesses never realized how much they actually relied on Canadian shoppers. I'll be honest, I don't know why I'm so hung up on this, but maybe it's a sense of betrayal or not being appreciated. I'm having a hard time kind of getting it out of my head and onto the mic, but if you kind of understand what I mean, let me know in the comments below. I'm sure somebody else can explain it better than I can. But as for these border town businesses, I'm sure we're going to have more of these reports saying stores closing down. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is a traffic update from YVR Airport. If you don't know where YVR Airport is, it's from Vancouver, my home. And there are some metrics here that I want to share with everyone. I'll go over the domestic metrics first. For the month of April compared to last year, there was a 6.1% increase in terms of domestic travel. If we look at the transborder numbers between Canada and the United States, there was a 6.5% decrease compared to last year's April. Now here's where the numbers get interesting. Asia Pacific had a 16.3% increase, and Europe, it went up by 50.6%, 118,065 flights in 2025, and 148,965 for 2026. If you ask me, these numbers are great. I mean, domestic travel's up, Asia Pacific and Europe are up. Transborder, down. Now, my guess at the transborder numbers for the month of June, because it's the World Cup, they are going to go up, and probably StatCan numbers are going to go up as well. And quite honestly, until the World Cup is over, we're going to see some skewed numbers. So am I going to be worried when CTV and the US media basically say for the third month in a row, Canadians are going to the United States? Is their boycott over? No, I'm not going to be worried. Because as long as I hear that hotels and shops and businesses are still suffering, I still know we're making a dent. Now, I want to end this video on a bit of a lighter note, and I found this video on TikTok. And the creator basically asked people from around the world, who does your country not get along with? Some of the answers are not surprising, and some of them are surprising. But the last one, well, I'll give you a bit of heads up before the last one.
Where are you from?
I'm from Vietnam.
Which country does your country not really get along with?
I guess China.
Where are you from?
Australia.
Which country does your country not really get along with?
America. Reflect.
To my Australian viewers, do you agree with your fellow countryman or woman? Let me know in the comments below.
Where are you from?
I'm from Poland.
Which country is not really a friend of your country?
Russia? You know,
Well,
with the whole
mainly
thing
all-
with the Ukraine going on, and we took a lot of Ukrainians into the country.
Poland took a lot of Ukrainians.
Yeah, did you not know this?
No. Where are you from?
Hong Kong.
Which country is not really a friend of your country?
Singapore.
I thought you guys are like besties.
No, it's quite a competitive situation financially.
Oh, financially?
Yeah.
Hey, where are you from?
Philippines.
Which country does your country not really get along with?
Historically, a lot of Filipinos weren't really getting on with the Japanese, but I think that's changed a lot now.
Where are you from?
Turkey.
What country is not really a friend of your country?
Considering political issues, maybe Armenia.
Okay, so this is the last one, and the response for this one, I'll be honest, I'm not surprised.
Where are you from?
America.
Which country does your country not really get along with? Oh, just pick one country.
I don't know, pass.
There's only a few reasons for this non-answer. Number one, you can't really name any other countries. Number two, you think the United States is great with everyone. Or number three, which is the one I'm hoping that is the reason, there's too many countries that your country, the United States, doesn't get along with. The third option would be the one for somebody in the United States that would kind of be up to date and in the know of what's going on. But unfortunately for this person, my gut feeling is that's going to be either number one or number two, or a combination of both. But some of the comments in the video is pretty funny. Let me read it out if you're just listening. The answer you're looking for, the whole world. The next one, pass is a good answer. Telling the names of 204 countries would have been difficult in many ways. And the last comment, last one didn't know there were other countries. Now, I'm not showing this to make fun of her. I'm really not. I really wanted to show everyone, to show how kind of oblivious some US citizens are. I personally know people in the US that didn't even know their country bombed Venezuela. But they know everything about the NFL. I know this is not new to everybody, but I just want to remind everybody what we're dealing with south of us. Now, again, I'm not generalizing every US citizen, and I'm not talking about any US citizen that supports my channel. Those that support my channel are aware. But unfortunately, your country, 340 million people, is a lot of people. To close off this video, I would like to again thank Force of Storms from our Discord server for posting up this photo again of Resolute Bay in Nunavut. This has to be the coolest looking Canada Post Office I've seen. So I really want to thank you, Force of Storms, for sharing this with the community. Alright, everyone, I gotta get going. Go is getting a little antsy, and I don't want her knocking over stuff on my desk. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international point of view, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you'll be notified on my future videos. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all as well. Now if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone. I'll catch you in the next one.